All right, before we begin the meeting tonight and approve the agenda, I just wanted to take a moment of silence. We had some sad news over the summer. We lost a para at ECS. Her name is Dorota Zach. And I've heard a lot of great things about her, so it's very sorry for her family's loss. And if you just take a moment to recognize her. Okay, thank you. From here, we'll move on to approval of our agenda and any additions, deletions. And I don't have a chair's review. It seems pretty brief tonight. Do you have any additions or deletions?
I do not.
All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Matt, second by Catherine. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The agenda is approved. Public comments. Is there anyone here for public comment? I don't see anyone. So we will move on to celebrating our faculty and staff. And will that be you introducing?
Yes.
Okay.
Claudia, would you like to celebrate our head custodians? Okay. I don't mind either. It's up to you. Okay.
Well, first of all, I really want to tell you that coming from a different district, you get to see how other people do things. And I wasn't sure what I was going to see when I got here. But I have to tell you, we have one of the greatest teams I've ever seen. It's amazing how much work they do to get these schools ready and to keep them clean during the year. And I'm talking about the custodial and maintenance staff, just in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I should have started with that. I am really impressed in the leadership in the schools with the head custodians. The type of surfaces that they deal with is not normal. Life is much easier with tile rather than carpet, and there's so many things associated with carpet, like asthma and dander, dirt, and these guys do a fantastic job every single day. For many of them, it's like Groundhog Day. They get up in the morning, they come here, and they have to clean the building. On a daily, every single day, they have the same area, same bathroom, same hallways, same stairwell. They leave everything spotless. They come back the next day, and it's all over again. It's like it won't go away. So I really commend them for having that kind of commitment to do that every single day. I've been blessed. It's made my life so much easier. I can talk to them. We're all growing together. I'm doing what I promised them. I'm getting more equipment, making their work environment better. And so far, everybody has bought into it. I'm really impressed, and I'm really proud to be the facilities director, director of operations over the custodial department, the maintenance department, everything that we've got going here. You all should be very proud of what is here and what's been here. And even though it sounds like leadership has changed many times over the years, the staff has stayed together, and they are together. I'm going to tell you a little story. So one of the things that I brought on here was Custodian of the Year. So I reached out to the staff and let them know that what I like to do is have Custodian of the Year. Put a plaque at Board of Ed. Every year we change the pictures. So we sent it out. They would have to vote for who the Custodian of the Year. They all decided there is no one particular person that stands above the other. They're all together in this. That's what I mean about a team mentality. They are all together. They all back each other up. If somebody's out sick, you don't get a complaining, oh, I have to do their area. They figure out how to do it. It's very rare that somebody complains and says, hey, we have too much going on. So saying all that, I'm blessed to have them as my staff, or working with them. We work together. I try not to use me and my staff too much, because it's really my job is to get them what they need to do their job. And their job is just to do it, and everything is fine. I mean, that's all I can say. Thank you, though.
Thank you so
Really,
much.
I really appreciate you guys bringing that up today. and recognizing them. Custodians are like one of those you only notice when things are not done, unfortunately.
True.
So to be able to stand up and say good things about them and recognize their work, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And we appreciate your perspective and your commendation of them, and also all the work they did over the summer. It's not just Groundhog Day in the summer; it's a whole new can of worms, I'm sure. So
summer's a
they've been working hard.
completely different animal, not only for the custodians, but also for the facilities part. I check with the head custodian every single week. I talk to each one individually, find out how they're doing, how they're coming along, if they need anything else. And they've been spot on all summer. We've been on schedule. No one's asked me like, we need overtime to get the building. Until even today. I talked to all 4 head custodians today. They're on schedule. They'll be ready for school opening. So that part has been fantastic. In addition, this year, we added some projects, and that's been fun. We were given funding for 11 projects by Capital Non-Reoccurring Fund, which is basically Capital Improvement Fund, and plus we did a few of our own. And those are really moving on great. From our own budget, the LEA budget, we replaced the blinds at the West Library, we replaced the blinds in the culinary area here, and we did the seal coating on the entire parking lot over at WIS. From the CNR funding, the ceiling tiles over at ECS are completed.
Wow.
The blinds are completed. They have 2 more blinds to put up behind the stage, but we were even able to do the cafeteria blinds with that funding. Not only did we did a quarter of the school, but we also were able to squeeze in the cafeteria. So those blinds, they didn't go up or down or anything. At least now we have safety and security. We can close the blinds if the cafeteria is full of kids. They started replacing the exhaust fans over at ECS that have not worked for who knows when. There was a crane there yesterday bringing the rooftop units up there, and hopefully they'll be done within the next day or 2. What else did we have? We replaced, we're replacing the water heater this week over at WIS. The gym here, if you want, I can sneak you in, look in the door. They've already begun lining the gym. It's all been sanded, sealed. Now they're already begun the lining, and then they'll do the 2 coats of sealer on top, which hopefully that'll be done this week. I know the athletic director is chomping at the bit to get the girls volleyball team in here, so we're working with him to let him use the gym over at CMS. We found that the receptacles on this roof didn't need to be replaced, didn't need to be added. They were actually inside the units, kind of a long story, but to say that part we don't need to do, so we're in good shape there. We're really moving along.
That's a
I didn't
huge
write
list,
down the
and
list of the project.
You
Blinds,
just
ceiling
got that
tiles.
money, what, a month
Excuse me?
ago? You just got that money like a month ago, 2 months ago,
Bobby
and
said, "Give me
you
the
went right
money
down
and
the
I'll make
list.
it work."
That's
Well-
amazing that you're able to line people up and get everything done like that.
It's
Great.
That's the biggest challenge is the financial system that we have set up for municipalities. It works for municipalities, but for schools, it's counterproductive. Fiscal year ends June 30th, new one starts July 1st. Well, by the time the budget gets uploaded, it's usually about 10 days after July 1st. And then you start the requisitions and purchase orders, and people have to order material. It's very challenging to get projects done in roughly 5 weeks, because that's really what we have between budget being uploaded and kids returning back from school. But I've got a great team there too, with Lynn McKinney and Mike Moen helping out. We've been moving right along. We've got good contractors working. We're investing more on local contractors. It's something that we really paid attention to in Hartford. These are the taxpayers in town. Their money goes into what happens in the school, so hiring them when I can to work in the school, one, they have their own ownership because it's their own school. It's not just a job they're going to. And it also kind of returns the money back around. So that's something that we're going to continue to do, increase the local contracting that we do.
Catherine, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah. It's a huge list of things that you just rambled off, the amazing things that they've been working on. But one of the biggest points for parents is that our kids are in the schools, before school, after school, during school, and the treatment, the relationship between the custodians and the students is very important to us. And just a quick story that the high school team for my daughter would practice at Woodside every winter, and there was one custodian in particular who always checked in on them, always said hello to them, always gave them confidence, and when they won, they were so excited to go back and tell Arthur that they won their cheer competition and to get a picture with him and their trophy. They were so pumped because he was super supportive. So you're amazing, and they still talk about you, and they love you. So thank you. That is a huge piece of what you guys do for our schools. So thank you very much.
It is. That's fantastic.
Thanks, Catherine. Anyone else have any comments? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to reports of liaisons from Town Council, Board of Finance, and Cromwell Middle School Building Committee. I don't see anyone here. We do have reference A for the Building Committee. There is a Town Council meeting tomorrow evening, if anyone would like to attend, and the agenda went out via email. So superintendent's updates and responses to Board of Ed comments and action items from our prior meeting. Dr. Macri.
So, hi everyone. I hope you're having a nice summer. Quickly, I was going to have Claudio come up and explain everything that he just did, so that was perfect that you went ahead and did it. I am incredibly impressed by the amount of work that we are getting done. I love that Claudio doesn't believe in the same word that I don't believe in. No, if there's a will, there's a way. And everything that he just said is just incredible. And I'm just so excited to be able to get it done for our kids. So thank you so much to Claudio and his incredible team, Arthur who's here, and the rest of the team. It's just pretty amazing what they get to accomplish. And to piggyback Catherine's story, when our seniors walked around the building, a lot of our students hugged the custodians at the buildings saying goodbye. That's who they hugged the most. So it's just really touching to see, especially our kids with special needs, to see the commitment and the relationship they have. It's pretty emotional and pretty awesome. So I thank them as well. Just quickly, we did have the community conversation with Joelle Murchison, and a few of us attended. Alan was there for the Board of Education, and it really went well, I believe. About over 30 people showed up, and we just had a really honest, candid discussion. And 2 of our students came with their parents and talked about things that they really wanted to address. So we're looking forward to the next portion of the work, which is the focus groups in the middle school, and then the staff professional development for the middle school. The high school went really well. We did get feedback from Joelle. She said it's nothing that she hasn't seen in other places. And she was curious about the focus groups. The difference in the 2 focus groups were they were both very diverse very diverse group of students, where one, it felt like the racism which was much more overt, whereas another group felt that it wasn't. And it was just interesting to look at the dynamics of the students. And we know that, like I always say, racism exists, but she feels that a lot of the steps that she has been given us and that we're working on, we're going in the right direction. So that's the only thing really that I need to just let you know. The curriculum work they're working on that all summer. Mr. Butwell has joined our fabulous team. He's loving it. He's learning so many great things. It's just really nice to have someone that you trust in this position. And Michelle is busy hiring people, and as you all know, she's a one-person show, but we're doing pretty good. So that's it for updates.
All right. Thank you. And Alan, thank you for attending for us. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on from that meeting?
Interesting meeting, and diversity goes beyond there's 100 different factors of diversity, and everyone's upbringing, their nationalities, their religious beliefs. It was good. It was a good meeting. It was very interesting.
Good. Okay. All right. And now, for the very first time, can we have our new finance director, Mr. Butwell, come on up and present the budget update?
Let's grill this guy.
Don't
Never.
don't grill him yet. Poor
Don't scare them away.
All right. Hi, everybody. Very excited to be standing at the podium in my new capacity. And as Dr. Macri said, it's been very exciting to be at central office and working with that team. It's quite interesting to start a job on July 1st, which is the first day of the new fiscal year, and then realize that you have to be responsible for closing the previous fiscal year, which you don't have a lot of knowledge about, and also get the new fiscal year up and running. So the first month was very busy for me, with a foot in both two different years at the same time, trying to close one and get the other one up and running. But it's been a pleasure. So everyone's been very helpful and has tolerated my questions. So in the report that that you found in your packet, just basically we've been spending a lot of time during July closing out any open purchase orders and things that were encumbered, and we're still chasing just a few things that we still need to pay off. But basically, you can see the spreadsheet for yourself that. At the moment in time when we finished this report a few days ago, we had a surplus of just over $2,000, and we're very hopeful that in the next coming days we're going to wrap everything up and have a final number for you for September.
Do you
Great.
anticipate it to still be in the surplus?
Yes.
once you
Yeah.
finish
100%.
Okay.
Any other questions?
In terms of the, there's a food deficit where people didn't pay,
Mm-hmm.
done anything with that other than send a nice letter saying, please pay?
I have to catch up on that because I know as a principal in the last year we were contacting families a lot to really try to get those paid off. And to be honest, I'm not sure where that was left at the end of the year. And so I don't want to say anything other than that, other than I haven't looked at it, but it's on the sticky note list.
We'll get that number too. But we definitely had a deficit, and I'll let you know exactly what it was. But as far as collecting money,
That's
we did a
my-
pretty good job, but not by any means all of it. We did a much better job with collecting for preschool tuition, because a lot of people were delinquent in their preschool tuition as well.
I'm more concerned about the collection activity.
Yeah, what we got left with, yeah.
What we're doing to collect those funds.
Yeah.
So that there's things we could do.
Yeah. The next thing that we could talk about as a board, if you guys want to go there, I'm not reluctant to go there for preschool tuition because it's a big chunk of money. People understand, they know it's a great value, and other kids lose out on that experience, where we did have families who did not pay, and they came in running when I said, okay, your child can't come back for next year if you don't pay your deficit. Those letters went out, those conversations happened, and those pretty much, we did pretty good with collecting that money. Laura was on them 24/7, call. Mr. Butwell got on and started making calls as well, and people came in and paid their deficits with the preschool tuition. The food services, not as good, but tons of effort, same type of effort, personal calls, everything.
Small claims court.
That's the thing that, so with preschool tuition, I talked to Jessica Ritter for us. There was enough there for us to file small claims for tuition. Right. There was enough of a reason with the food services department, because she said that we should probably think twice about that because it is related to food. But that's a discussion that we could definitely, when she comes to talk to you.
That's what
because she
Jessica
talked-
said?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jess said, you want to be careful with food because it's food. But at the same time, we're talking about $500-600 bills. We're not talking about the $50 bills. Yeah.
Well, if they know that we're taking an action, to start with the big ones and maybe the others fall in
Right.
line when they realize.
It's not like they weren't getting fed.
It's more of a,
No,
They
the
weren't
kids
doing
get fed.
food, but they're getting fed
We're still gonna
still.
continue to feed them,
right.
Always.
even if the bills aren't getting paid, so
Ooh,
we
always.
That's what
can't.
I'm saying, so I know, I agree with
We
you.
Is
will
the worry
always-
that students might be told at home not to take the
worry
food
is-
then from
The
school?
worry is, yes. So the worry is don't take the food from school and then the perception of the other students who are watching and seeing. There's a couple issues with families that are no longer united. So dad expects mom to pay, and mom expects dad to pay, and the child is in the middle. And I know. And so we would probably be one of the first districts to do small claims for food, not for tuition, but for food.
Kelly, did you have a question?
I was just curious on the preschool, so if they don't pay, we're allowed to say they can't come to kindergarten here.
No. So we have some kids who repeat preschool,
Who
their
repeat-
second,
okay,
yeah.
that's what I was-
So we've
okay.
had some, yes, and then,
makes more sense.
and then I also, this year we had to just put our foot down early, where I said in April, if you don't make your payment, your child, it's over right now.
Got it.
Your child can't come back, which killed me, because I don't wanna do that to a kid, but it made people pay their bills. Whereas last year I was much, because I'm like I am. Why wouldn't I? What could I do for a living? Why wouldn't I care about the kids more? But we had to put our foot down, and it was people who could definitely afford it.
Got it.
So I stopped it sooner this year and got the payment.
That makes more sense than what I thought.
Yeah.
you were saying. I was like,
No,
can do
we
that?
can't.
Like,
No,
that's-
we're not allowed. No, you cannot. You can't. And I wouldn't, but I can officially.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so from here, we'll go on to new business. First action item A is approval of authorized signature change from Form ED 099, Agreement for Child Nutrition Programs. What is that about?
This is, Chris, do you want to talk about this, or do you want me
Oh,
to? It
sorry.
doesn't matter. It's every year we have to do this in order for us to be part of the child nutrition program. And Chris he has it with him, and has done it in the past. Every year we have to sign this. So tomorrow, as soon as you guys approve that we want to be part of this program, Mr. Butwell and I get to sign the form and say
Oh,
we'll
okay.
be.
Right, it just basically authorizes me to access the funds and sign off on things.
Oh, gotcha. Is there a motion?
Motion.
By Catherine, second. By Kelly, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, new business item B, action item, approval of the lunch price increase, reference C. So it looks like it went up 10 cents.
Yep.
Any questions on that?
Less than the rate of inflation.
I know.
Okay.
I do have one quick question. It's not free this year, so, and it hasn't been. Do they ever change what they're providing? You know, the vendors, what they're providing? If it's no longer free and we're paying for it, I would expect at some point there might be changes.
The menu gets worked on with Sandra. We have to follow, we have to follow the regulations, the food and nutrition regulations, which we do. But do they change? We've been using the same vendors. Probably not, but we could have a conversation with Sandra about some changes that we could make. It would really depend on what we want to do, I would think. So I could talk to Sandra about that.
Okay, I was just curious. All right, is there?
We're still paying, like, no matter what, we're still, either the state is paying or we're paying, we're all paying. So
Right.
that wouldn't, matter.
All right, is there a motion to approve the lunch price increase? Alan, second by Matt, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. End of year committee reports, reference D. Thank you, Kelly, for knocking that off right off at the last minute there. They kind of fell off the radar, so Lisa reminded us, and I was about to go on vacation, so Kelly put together the facilities, and Lori is on vacation, but she will get hers to us at our next meeting. And action item D, approval of the minutes and motions from our July 23rd special meeting, reference E. Is there a motion?
Motion.
By Catherine, second by Kelly. All in favor? Opposed, abstentions? There were a couple, right? I think, Alan, were you not at that one either? I went through them just to make sure, so I think you need to abstain too.
You were there? You were
He was absent. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And then the next one, approval of our minutes and motions from the June 18th special meeting, reference F. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? By Kelly Cloutier, is there a second? You were there.
Second.
By Kelly, all in favor, opposed, and then we have 3 abstentions, I think. Catherine, Stephen, and Alicia Duty. Whoops, sorry, and she's not here anyway, so,
Who motion and approved? I motion. Did you, Kelly?
yeah. All right, and item F, approval of our minutes and motions from the June 4th meeting, reference G. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion.
Catherine, is there a second? Alan, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention. And Kelly will abstain.
I know there's one I wasn't.
Okay, motion carries. Action item G, stipend approval, 2024-2025, reference H. Any questions on that?
No.
No? Is there a motion to approve it?
Motion.
By Catherine, second. Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Stipends are approved. And informational, human resources personnel activity reference I. Any questions on that? It was a lot of hiring. Matt?
I'm just always curious when we have folks move on who've been with us, particularly been with us for a period of time. What are kind of the reasons that people are moving on to other? Are there better opportunities, better pay, leaving the field entirely?
Wow, you answered a
those.
lot of the questions. So,
Do we know what the majority of them were?
yeah, so, I wish I could say it's one area. There was a lot of different reasons why people are leaving. So, several were leaving the profession. And now the Connecticut State Department of Ed requires us to do like this exit we always did an exit survey here, but now it's a requirement with every district. So we had to do certain guidelines that the Connecticut State Department of Ed requested us to do. And so we have to send everybody a link that leaves the district. And obviously we can't force them to do the exit survey. We ask them and we tell them that the feedback is much needed for our district, and the Connecticut State Department of Ed, does recommend that we do this. And when they're here during the regular months, we usually like to meet with them in person. It's hard in the summer sometimes to get them to come in. But from the resignations I did get in the summer, several were leaving the profession. Some were contractually, when they went somewhere else, they started at a higher step, so there was definitely more money. Some were basically, their roles changed a little in the positions that they were going. They did something here and they were going to do something a little bit different in another district. One was they were going to get more of an administrative position versus a teacher position. They're going to go more into administration, like coaching. So it was like various reasons. So I wish I could say it was one, but it wasn't. A lot of different categories.
So it's not like people are leaving unhappily. Like they're not like, well, forget it. I'm not happy here. I'm moving on. Like it tends to be other things. But I guess my follow-up question is the data that's collected from those surveys, where does that go? I'm assuming we keep some in-house.
The data actually comes to me. So that way they feel that it's, they can actually be comfortable in saying, what they want to say. But I will be able to present a cumulative response to you. I would say maybe at one of our board meetings, maybe in the fall, like November, December, can kind of give you idea of everyone who left and all the reasons, because I have to compile that all together. And I'm sure I have to present it to the state. It's probably a database I have to put it in.
That was my question. How does the state then gather that from us?
And then I'll be able to do that for the board also, yes.
Okay. I mean, I'd be curious to see the results, obviously, just out of
Yes.
curiosity. And
Yes.
as much as
And
you are
we
kind of
need it
future
too.
planning,
Yep.
was there something we can do different as a district that's going to, make people want to stay here longer, or maybe keep their careers going further along?
Yeah. So, some of them were like growth potentials. We only have so many, right, positions that people can grow. So if they feel like there's nowhere to grow, they're going to go to a district maybe that has like an administrative position open. Some of it, our hands are tied, like contractually, they can move a couple steps higher, and we can't compete with some of those
Right.
contracts. Some of them are closer to home. I mean, could people not be happy? Yes. Maybe they don't like the environment that they're in, and that's why those surveys will tell us more information regarding what could we do better as a district to make people stay and retain them.
I mean, I'd absolutely be curious down the line to see some of that. Obviously not attached to names. I don't need to know anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to give, and I wouldn't even be able to give the state names either, because they want more of a cumulative. They want to know, how many percentage is leaving the district. And I think, this is not only a state of Connecticut issue or a Cromwell issue, it's nationwide. Why are teachers wanting to leave the profession? So what can they do? And they have looked at different avenues. One of the things that I was just talking to Dr. Enza Bakri about was they just came out with this different program for alliance districts. Well, we're not in alliance districts to diversify the workforce. So we kind of get lost in the shuffle, I find. So for me, it's disheartening because I think we need just as much help as other school districts that do get some of those other fundings. But I feel like because of our size, we kind of get lost. So.
Well, I know every year I see the shortage areas list. I think I just got the latest one last week.
I was very
or
surprised
the
to see
week
social
before,
studies on there.
And I was like, really?
Yeah, so was I.
Social studies has made that list? Like, I don't think I've ever seen that in my 20 years of educating.
No. What happened was a long time ago when you would post for social studies, you'd probably get about 125 applications, if not more. And what happened is eventually those students who went to college to become a social studies teacher, they realized that they couldn't find a job. So they actually went and chose different careers. And so the pool has gotten less and less and less for every position. We have 2 current openings for a school psychologist. Very hard to find. Special ed's very hard to find. Math is very hard to find. Science is very hard to find. We've been pretty lucky in the last couple years, but eventually it catches up on you, right?
Well, I mean, on
so
the
you
flip
could see
side-
the openings that we have, and we are working very hard, and we're meeting. I have appointments all this week with new certified staff coming in, so we're hoping, we have our fingers crossed, we'll have pretty much every school pretty much filled.
It looks like you've done a pretty good job this summer with filling
We're
up all
trying.
these spots from the list.
We're
here.
trying, but not with the help. I have excellent help from all of the administrators. All of our administrators are wonderful. They work very closely with my department. My department, you like that? My department, and our principals are awesome, and our assistant principals are awesome, and and once we find someone, I'm feeding them, different applicants, and we're trying to get them in as soon as possible, and we're moving them, and they're meeting with the superintendent, we're getting their contract signed, so we're trying to get them started as soon as possible, because we have new teacher orientation next week, and it's very important that we get as many of them there for new teacher orientation.
All right, we have some questions on this side. Go ahead, Kelly.
I wanted to kind of piggyback on Matt's, all his questions. Comments. I know. You answered a bunch of them. So basically, when I was looking through this, there is a lot from ECS, especially in special ed, that I was getting concerned because there's a bunch of paras, the psychologist, the social worker, plus at WIS. So it makes you want to know the details of, are they all leaving for the same reason, or if it is just everybody's dispersing everywhere? Which I
Yeah.
know obviously you can't say personally, but I'm just saying it just seems really, not weird, but like,
Right.
yeah, concentrated that it's,
Well, I can tell you different school districts have different models when it comes to student services.
Yeah.
And we are a smaller district. So we have a certain model. You might go to a bigger district like New Britain or Hartford, and their models might be a little different. So there's more specialties, right? So, for example, a school psychologist might go to Hartford and they might just have to do testing. And here they have to wear several hats because we're a smaller district, so we have to do a little, more different things. So there's all different reasons why people leave, and sometimes it could be closer to home. It could be, right, the class, everything's changing.
Yeah.
Um, Mm.
I think it's important for you to know, and Michelle's totally right, and I'm sorry to interrupt Michelle, but to know the truth. The truth is that our students need a lot of services, and there is a lot of special students with special needs that require very outside of the box thinking, that there are kids who come to school to learn on how to behave, and while they're learning how to behave, I hate the word behave because it's
really about trauma. They are perhaps putting their hands on adults way more than and other kids, way more than we've ever seen in our entire lives. That is the truth. With that being said, they are our students. I love them and I embrace them, and we have to work with them. Nobody wants to come to work and have that happen to them. But some people think the grass is greener on the other side. However, it's happening everywhere. So it's kind of frustrating to me, but it's not, because some leave and then say they want to come back, because it's happening everywhere. These are our students, every last one, and we are going to do every single thing we can to make sure that they succeed in this school system before I do anything else, especially outplace them. So if people feel that it's too much, and I honor and respect where they are in their career, that they have to move on, but these are my kids and they come first. These are our kids and they come first. So do we get the training that we need? Absolutely. Have we done more than we've ever done over the years with ESS and everything else? Absolutely. Can we do more? Sure. We always can do more. However, it is very difficult at the lower level, because we're a small school system, and in order to build a program correctly, and I've spoken to this to you before, you need the financial support, you need the correct training, and you need the space. And we don't have any of that at ECS. We don't have the space. We have the ABA, which is going wonderfully, but we do have students with other needs. And I'm not comfortable, and neither is Sari, and nor should anybody be, without placing students before we have tried everything. Sometimes it just takes time, and people are worn out, and I understand and I respect that. However, our kids will always come first. And like Michelle explained, there may be in a larger district, one right next door that I worked in, there's programs within programs within programs. They don't always work either. And there's a lot of money that's going into them, and no one has the answer right now. So we're gonna keep doing our best. We're gonna keep putting training, providing the adults with the training that they need, and taking everything very seriously. However, there's not a quick fix to this issue. And I want to be honest with you about that. And we are not alone.
No, we're not, because many times when I meet with them, they're leaving another district, coming here for many of the same reasons.
Right.
So it's really a hard, I think they're looking for their home, and just because we're not someone's home doesn't mean, we're not doing everything the way we're supposed to be. I think that, the people that there comes a point in everyone's career where you have to make a choice, right? And I think they're choosing what's right for them at the time. I don't think it's a bad choice. And a lot of the people that do leave, they love their experiences here in Cromwell, and the letters and the emails they write us are wonderful. I'm not going to say everyone's happy, because I'm sure there's people that leave because they're discouraged and like Dr. Macri said. However, I think when you go to a bigger district, it's more specialized. In a smaller district, it's the truth. We wear more hats.
Michelle does everything. She's HR. You're looking at her. We're small. And so that doesn't mean we want to lose people, because we don't. But we also want people who want to be here working with our students that need someone that wants to work with them and their special needs to the best of their ability. And like Michelle said, if they make a personal choice because it's not working for them anymore, we have to honor and respect that. And that's what we're doing. We are taking suggestions, but it's nothing that we don't already know.
The other thing I wanted to mention was about the paraprofessional positions. You'll see several of them pop up, especially for ECS, and it'll say 1 year choice funded. And those are positions because the CREC is not, it's one of the agencies, they're not able to find paras. So we've actually started hiring the paras for them, and we bill them. So those aren't necessarily positions that people have left. It's because those positions are funded through choice. Just so to give you, you'll see some of those openings for vacancies.
Just one thing on the pairs. That I just looked back till August of 22. That was by far the biggest turnover that we've seen in our system, and I don't know if there's something that we're looking at there. If it's just, I don't know what's causing that. I mean, it's 26 we lost in 2 years, so I don't know what's causing that.
Where are you seeing?
I
those
went through
numbers?
all the reports and added them up.
Oh,
It's not uncommon for paras to go and leave and go to another district, but it's also not uncommon for paras to try this out to see if they like it, if they want to go into teaching, and then go back into and then
Yeah, I don't know if there was something like training or something
Yeah.
that we're missing out on, or
We've
something
been doing
that I
so
don't.
much more
I don't know the
training.
intimate details, right?
We-
So
I would say a few years back that would definitely was it. There's so much training that's happening. Actually, Lindsay Dimitriadis was very happy with the way we've invited paras to participate in training with the teachers that they're working with as far as reading programs and all of that. It used to be so divided, and now it's not. No, I really think that people are realizing that this is a really tough job,
and we have more of them, so
We
you
have-
have to
yeah,
look
we
at it
do
that
have
way
more.
I'm
too.
just looking like
Yeah,
total
and
numbers,
we have-
kind of just trying to see if there's really any trends or anything. And that was the one that jumped out to me. So
Yeah.
it's just,
Some of them have moved into higher positions with us.
Yeah.
So they've moved into other
Yeah,
unions,
always.
like they've moved
No.
into the UPSU secretarial unit.
Oh, that's true too.
And
I'm
then
sorry.
some of them move
Yeah.
into teaching positions.
but would they show as a resignation at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll
Okay.
show a resignation because they're
they
resigning from the
have one
para
position.
union.
So like
and
right
then
now,
they
I
go.
see a
Gotcha.
resignation on here as a
Yeah,
building
like-
sub, but
yeah.
that person became a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So they.
So
show
they
up.
move, and sometimes they use that, like, sometimes if they're in college, they could be at Central, and they're taking night classes, and they might be a para because they need to help fund their college. And then junior, senior year, or senior year, they might need to really focus, so they'll resign, and then they come back after they graduate. So we do a lot of things with college students as paras. They come in because they need an associate's degree or 60 college credits or have passed the para pro test. So many times they're going to be a teacher, and so they're funding their
in the
school.
process.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that position becomes like not all the time. Sometimes it's a career, but it depends. And we've had some really great paras decide they want to go back and be a teacher. So it's different. And the same thing happens with building subs. Many times our building subs take long-term sub positions and then from there take teaching positions.
Yeah, that was the other big one too. But obviously,
Yeah.
subs,
Oh yeah, that's how we
Yeah.
watch them as a long-term sub,
And then we
see
hire
how
them.
they do. So there's a talent pool that we develop, and we work very closely with universities and colleges. And Chris knows has worked very closely with me when he was at Woodside regarding this. And we grab student teachers in, and we have them work with mentor teachers, and from there they come over and then they do building sub positions, and from there sometimes they take paraeducator positions, and then from there they take teaching positions. We try to keep them with us because we don't want to lose them.
I mean, like, sorry, the long-term subs, a lot of those people use it to get their foot in the door.
Yeah, then
because
take a full-time
yeah, like
position.
when Woodside
Yeah.
had a third grade position open, you had how many applicants for that position? It was insane. So they'd rather come in as a long-term sub and then be in there
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
get hired in. So that, and the paras, a
Yeah,
lot
the
of
subs I don't really question.
the
It was just-
paras
it
are
was just
also-
seemed like a high number, so I was kind of
like
curious,
a lot of,
but it makes sense.
there's a ton of reasons. Like a lot
Yeah.
of parents who have been home raising their kids will decide to go back to think they want to be a para.
You'll see some of them. It was like 2 months later they're gone.
And they're like, yeah, oh,
Like,
this is not what I thought it was going to be. I am out. I'm trying something different. But there's definitely, I know a lot of people have gone into para positions and have transitioned out quickly for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, and so many times those are called change of assignments. So we don't, it's not a new hire, so we won't put it on that list. If you saw Steve's on that list with me, we put it in, change of assignment, this person's going here, this one, it's constant. And there's like a requisition form that goes, and we keep track, and it affects like so many different departments because their emails have to get changed. Affects Claudio's department because their badges get changed. So we have everything communicated to all the departments. It affects Kelly Swan for Power School, so payroll purposes. So many of us are contacted every time there's a change of assignment, a promotion, a resignation, a new hire. But what comes to you in this personnel action or communication is actually just the new hires, resignations, and retirements. If we were to put change of assignments, it would take me a week every time I would have to do this
Please no.
to send it to you.
So in this
Definitely
report,
not asking for that.
in this report, there is also a retirement that I know Dr. Macri wanted to recognize. So Wendy Dowling, we wanted to thank her for her service to the district. And if you wanted to add anything, feel
Yes,
free.
Wendy was the administrative assistant in special education office, and she was phenomenal. And she finally decided that she had a week off straight, and she said, wow, is this what life is really not like, not having a phone tied to your hip for services for special education, transportation, and everything else. She was wonderful. She really loved what she did, but she's spending time with her grandchildren, and she's happily retired. We've had her come back a few times to help us out, and Lisa Cacase has filled her position, and she's doing a wonderful job too. But we wish her the very best of luck.
All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. Moving on to the informational principal reports, reference J, K, L, and M. Any questions on those? We don't have principals here to answer them, but they're pretty self-explanatory,
Everything
right?
should be.
And we'll go to
The
second
nightmare's
read
the next.
policies. We have none. Ellen, you sure you're all set?
Yeah, the
Okay.
next one is where he gets crazy.
And policies for first read. We have A through D. Were there any questions on any of these?
I just had one on, which one was it? On C, the purchasing policy. I would, Claudio, I would say it would be good for you to take a look at that if you have any comments during the next meeting, because that's going to affect you. So if you have any feedback on the purchasing policy. And you noted, obviously trying to use local contractors, so I don't know if there's any way to finagle it's like New Britain has, like, if you're from New Britain and you're within 10%, we can award the contract to you. Like in some of the.
Can or have to?
You don't, well, you can, it's a choice. So like, I don't know if there's a way, if that makes sense, if they're from Cromwell, we give them a little foot in the door. Something to think about, doesn't have to necessarily be there, but
I don't know.
I don't know legality if that would work.
I'd
have
to ask Jess.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to open a can of worms, but if it's something simple and Jess is like, yeah, we can add that, then
This is Shipman's policy with some minor adjustments from the administration, but nothing major. If that would be a major change. If you
Yeah, I
want
don't-
me to ask, it's
I don't
up
know,
to
I
you guys.
just-
What do you want me to do?
just throwing it out there as an idea.
Doesn't it cross over into
Like
the related party?
Yeah, the word that comes to mind.
I'm trying to be a nicer word. A related party.
I mean, and Claudio already said he's
so
trying to
there
work
was a
with
whole
people that are local,
lawsuit
so.
based on that, and so that
I
makes
think
me a little.
I think we'd have to be careful.
I'm
We'd
very,
have to
very, and then I think that you cross a line of to who you allow it to and who you don't, and there's state regulations around that.
Do you want to
Very
use the mic?
strict.
I would just say if we,
Oh, okay.
that's something.
Okay.
Once you put it in writing,
No.
then
No, you can't hear it on.
No,
it's okay.
I'm
No.
getting the signal. Sorry.
Once you put it in writing, then you're required to follow by the letter. So you open up a whole new,
Can of worms.
yeah, a whole new can. We don't use an extraordinary amount of contractors to begin with. And in most cases, when we're looking at local contractors, we're looking at smaller vendors. So,
So you're not going out for RFP anyway?
no.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no. There wouldn't be anything that I would need an RFP for.
Got it.
Okay. Sounds like it's not needed then. Thanks. All right. Any other questions on A through D? Anything at all? If not, is there a motion to approve? Oh, we don't because it's first read. Okay. We'll bring them forward at the next meeting. And next we have a list, E through W, of policies that we'll be repealing, no longer needed for a variety of reasons, whether they're already contained in another.
Right.
Okay. So do we need an action to repeal those?
We do.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, this is
all under first read.
Even to repeal?
And
I think for repeal,
I thought it still went through the same process.
does it?
Okay.
I don't know.
No harm,
We
no
might- to be
foul,
safe, we
right?
could follow.
Okay.
Catherine, you said all those are in another.
They're either
policy
in
now?
another one or they're outdated. So, and no longer.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
some of them they definitely have covered.
Yep.
Okay.
I can give them. You can read through all of them if you
No, I
want.
don't
want
want to.
Or you can take
take
our
your
word
word
for
for
it.
it.
We went
Yeah,
through all
I
of
know-
them very
I know you did.
carefully. We could probably tell you which policy they were through.
I've seen some of them come as new ones, so.
All right, so we'll move all those to a second read. Board committee reports, policy committee, reference R is in your packet. And facilities and technology committee, there is no report at the moment. Topics for future agendas, possible action to approve additional topics. I can't think of anything. Does anyone else have anything they want to discuss?
Steve had brought up a review of board, like doing a self-evaluation, of the board and best practices. Did we ever add that?
No, I think I circulated the email that came from CABE. There were some questions or concerns about using that particular evaluation because it goes to CABE then. Do we want to give them our information? So that was something I was considering. There's a million other ones that we could do. So, I mean, if that's something we're interested in doing, show of hands if we want to bring that up to another meeting.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So we'll get that on an agenda.
think
If
the
anybody
goal is
has
really
any
just
formats they want to forward
Always,
to me.
continuously improve. That's really it. I mean, not saying we're doing anything wrong, but we can always, and anything we do, we can always do better.
I would argue we're pretty awesome.
I agree.
But there's always room for improvement.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good.
And then the only other thing I want to add is, I see the budget calendar is September. Do we want to try to have like a discussion on things to make the process easier for Chris when we go to the Board of Finance? Is there ways to present the information that the Board of Finance isn't asking the same questions that they've asked for the past 5 years?
I can give input on that because I go to the Board of Finance meetings every single month. And I answer those same questions every single month.
Yeah.
And I provide repeated answers to those every single month. And I know that Selena and Enza have multiple conversations with them. So it is beating a dead horse, and it doesn't matter. That's the way they want to do it. They're always going to ask those questions at their review. We have improved upon the process, but I have given them every opportunity. I've literally explained certain things 5 times, and they still ask the questions at their budget meeting. They want to hear from multiple people, so I don't know any other. We've also given them options to write in,
Yeah.
and we provide answers, and we've done that, and they have the written answers, and they still ask the questions.
And we've also met with John to go over what they want to see in the presentation, and it's been
And
updated
it's been in the
year after
presentation.
year. Every time they request something,
Yeah,
it's been
so
included.
we have. I mean, if we want to talk about other ways, but it has been. Some of these questions have been answered on multiple occasions, and every year they're still going to ask. I'm only telling you this because
some
it's my
things, like if
5th
there's
year.
major spikes in something, I've seen some towns like put here's a summary in writing of all the major
Yes.
spikes or increases, decreases, those kinds of things.
We've done
So,
that, and they still
yeah.
ask. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to sit and have the conversation, we can. But I'm telling you that we have done it repeatedly, and I don't. They want to ask the questions at that meeting. I think they want some of it documented too. I think that's a big piece of it.
Yeah.
But we can discuss it. But they're still going to go through and ask those questions.
And there's always new people too. So.
Yeah, and it's their responsibility and their right. So we're more than happy to repeatedly answer them. But we do provide the answers multiple times throughout the year. Not to be a little aggressive about it, but just.
I mean, it just seems like I went to the last 2 budget meetings for the Board of Ed, and it seemed like the same, like I said, the same exact questions.
And I
were
could tell you
asked.
how many times I'd answered those questions throughout the year. So, and presented them with what was happening throughout the year, with the explanations, and they still ask it at the budget meeting.
It's sort of like how Matt always asks us.
Rhetorical.
Gotcha.
The other, if we're done with that, it was, obviously the phones in schools, whether it's coming legislatively or
Right.
whether we should look at it but I think it's coming down the pike.
Sounds
and
like it is, so.
whether we want to talk about it or wait, but it's coming, I think. So.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad to review what our current practice is within classrooms, and
I could tell you very quickly next time, or now, whenever you want. It's
let's put it on and just have it as a discussion.
So maybe I don't know if the next meeting would be too busy. But it does seem to make sense at the beginning of the year to have the conversation before school starts. But I feel like we need more information. So let's talk about it later and figure
I
out
could have the
how we can do
principals
it.
report how they address it. in
Yes,
every school.
that sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? All right, comments, updates, and announcements from board members. Well, I'll start with you, Steve, this time. Nothing? Anything, Catherine? Nothing from me? Anything else? Nothing. All right. You've been silenced. All right. And we did this in under an hour, and meeting's adjourned at 5:26.